so I've been doing a lot of talking about kind of my makeover takeover and basically my new strategy on doing demos, doing makeovers and all of that. So I wanted to show you a little bit about my setup, how I'm doing it. I'm not going to go into the makeover part quite so much for this video, but I do want to show you my setup because I am basically scheduled 45 makeovers and I'm just pumping these out like freaking Charlie in the Chocolate Factory over here. So I want to show you how I've got it set up because I've got it pretty efficiently set up, and then I want to show you how I prepare for it, how I have their little station set up, the information I get before I start, and then I'm going to go through the part that I do covering the skincare that I do with them. So if 3 people come over for a makeover, this is the part that we do all together and what I go over. So that is the first thing I'm going to show you, is just kind of my general setup. So check it out. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is this cart that I got. I got it from Hobby Lobby for like $20, and it is seriously life-changing. And this is, I have all of my stuff that I need for a makeover on this cart. And my office is upstairs, and so this makes it super easy to take it from my office to down in my dining room. Let me show you where I do my makeover. So this is my dining room. This is where I set up my makeovers. Mainly because we do have a large window with natural light, I moved my lighting down here to help for when I do them at night. And because this is in the front of my house, it's easy for me to keep clean. And that way I'm not stressing about having my entire house perfect for when people come over. We can set several people up in here. I put up my makeup chair and put out some wine, and this is where we do it. So on my makeup stand that I have, come back over here, I've got all of my lip scents, my shadows, all of the things for the makeover. I use an air gun to apply the makeup, and I will talk about that a little bit more in just a minute. And then I have the lashes that I apply, and they are just super cheap lashes, and I let them know these are super cheap lashes, but I want you to get the effect of what it would look like if you put, you know, we're doing full glamour makeup. I have my brushes, I've got all of my foundations and testers down here, and then I've got my skincare. I keep my skincare in these 2 bags. I've got one for normal to oily, one for normal to dry, so it's easy for me to know which to grab from depending on who I'm talking to, who I've got scheduled, and all of that stuff. Then I've got my setup, and I'm gonna set my camera up on a tripod to go over all of this stuff with you guys. Okay, so now that you kind of see my setup in context of where I do this in my home, how I get everything from my office down to where I'm doing the makeovers, let's start with the very beginning. So, say somebody books a makeover with me, and here's what I do. Basically, these makeovers are taking the place of my demos. It is basically a demo, but one we're calling them makeovers, and I have a little bit different of a format. Same thing as a demo. So when somebody signs up to do a makeover, I say, okay, great, you can come over, free makeover, no pressure to buy. I'm going to show you the stuff. I'm going to work towards my MUA, so they're helping me out a little bit. And then I tell them, if you bring 1 friend, you will get a free color, lip color. If you bring 2 friends, you're going to get a free collection. And those are basically their hostess rewards. So that's nothing out of compliance. I'm not giving them any more of a discount than I would give someone for hosting a demo. I'm actually, the sales are the rewards that they're getting with the way that sales have been going from these makeovers is actually probably less than what they would be if I went by our traditional hostess rewards. So if you're worried or thinking, is this out of compliance? It's not, I promise. But we're calling them makeovers instead of demos. I feel like demos are starting to scare people. So that's why we are changing the name a little bit. So when they book a demo with me, I send them a link to a Google form. And this is basically, this is the printed out version of what this Google form looks like. I ask for their full name, their phone number. I ask them if they want a daytime, evening, or an evening look. So are we going for daytime or do you want to see like glamour makeup? Then I ask them if they're okay with me applying false eyelashes to them. They can say yes, no, or maybe. Most people say maybe. They kind of want to talk to me about it. If they've never done it, they're worried about if it's okay for their lashes. I give them all that information, then we decide. Sometimes I just hold them up to their eye so they can get kind of a loose visual of what it would look like full glam. Then I ask for their skin type. Are they normal to dry, normal to acne to oily, normal to oily, normal to dry, or dry? They choose one of those, and that way I kind of know how to set up for the skincare portion. I ask what their current foundation is, like the brand and the color. All of my kids are coming in. Can you boys go outside so I can finish my video? I'll be out in just 10 minutes. Okay, I'll be out there in just a minute. The pigs got out of the coop. Shocking. Go help get them back in the coop, okay? I ask them their current foundation type and color, just so I can do a little bit of, investigative work. So when they show up, I'm not freaking out trying to match their foundation. It just gives me an idea. I also look at their Facebook profile and just look at pictures. And that way I can be like, okay, I think she's gonna be like almond ivory or dewy, or she's more tan, so we're gonna look at fawn tan, that type of thing, no surprises. Then I ask if they've got blue or green veins, and then I ask if they tan or if they burn easily. That's gonna tell me if they've got warm or cool skin. I fill that out on this piece of paper. I do a little Facebook stalking, and I write any notes. Like if I notice that, okay, they love bright lip colors, or they don't wear any lip colors, so we're gonna not start out with blue-red. We're gonna start with something a little bit more neutral, but I do wanna give them some color so they can look at it. That's where I write all of these notes. It's basically my cheat sheet for the makeover and for my little presentation. So this is the first form. The next form that I have prepared, and I fill this out after their makeover, is basically a makeover guide. And this is where I fill it out, and basically it's, I write their skin type, if they've got other problems that I would recommend addressing, such as wrinkles, dark circles, dark spots, large pores, severe dryness, blemishes, that type of thing, I fill that out on the sheet, and I recommend what other products that we have that I would recommend specifically for that. I color match their foundation, and I write down what we used for their makeover, for their foundation, and I tell them if they would be light or medium color correcting tinted moisturizer. And then literally I'm just filling out everything that we do step by step for the makeover. Skin prep, which is always just silk. Concealer, typically candlelight. Color correcting, typically candlelight, or I'll use green. Let me flip it over. And this gives them a good, here's the problem that I find. When people get makeovers, they go home, even if they buy the product, and they're like, okay, now I forget what to do with it. So I want to make that as super easy as possible. So when I'm doing the makeover, I'm showing them how they will do it themselves. Plus, when I send this home with them, it helps. So I tell them what I used to accent their eyes. I tell them their transition color. I tell them their accent color. I fill in exactly what color I'm using where on their eye. Same thing with contouring and with blush and highlighting, what I used, and then I take a highlighter and highlight exactly, because I'm not going to do this full contouring on everybody. Some people may need no contouring. Some people I just lightly contour their cheeks, and so I will highlight. These are the areas I contoured, and then their lip information, that if I used liner, if I used a combo, and what gloss that I used. And this gets sent home with the person so that they can either go home and decide what they want to order, or if they are going ahead and buying something, they know what I used and where I used it and how I used it. So that's the second form. The next form that they get, I prepare a clipboard for them that has this on it. This is basically what the clipboard looks like. I've got this laminated sheet, which I will explain in a minute. We have a beauty book, and then we have a customer profile that I ask them to fill out. And basically it's just got like their information, their name, address, a little bit about themselves. I ask for their birthday, their anniversary. I ask for their husband's information, and if they're okay with me contacting them with any wish lists for anniversaries and birthdays. And I will just send them a text and be like, hey, this is Mary from Farm Fancy. I met with your wife. She wanted me to pass along this wish list. Let me know if I can help you. That is a huge thing. And then it's just some more personal information that they fill out. They fill out, they leave it with me. I create a file for everyone I do a makeover on, and I put this in their file along with sticky notes, with notes that I have, with usually this prep form that I had, just so I have their information, anything they order, and that way I have it all in one place and it keeps me super organized. So, as far as forms go, that is what they get. So the next part, when they come, I get them a glass of wine. We chat for a minute. I usually have, let's see if you can see, I usually set out skincare. I will usually have the lip color, shadows, all of that for them to kind of sit and pick through for a minute before we get started. And then they sit down and we get going on talking about the skincare. I go through this with every single person, whether I've got one person in front of me or I've got 3 people in front of me. I bought these little paint palettes from Hobby Lobby. They were like 90 cents. I bought like 15 of them. It was way more than I need, but they were cheap, so I bought them all. And I put this in front of them. I put just a little squirt of several of the skincare products in it. And because of the form I give them asking what type of skin they have, that is how I choose what cleanser and what moisturizer I'm gonna put into the palette. Then the other products are things that are some basic things that I want to show everybody. And then they all have this laminated sheet, and basically it mirrors the paint palette. So yeah, it goes like this. So like this is the cleanser, and then this right here explains the cleanser, how much it is, and a little bit about it. And I basically just start with the cleanser and we go clockwise. So this is how it goes. And I'm basically gonna give you my entire spiel on this. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes. And they do it on the back of their hand. This is so important. You want to get this product on their body. It takes a little too long to do their full face, so we do a back of the hand, and that way they can compare, and it makes a huge difference. I mean, they're just dying over it by the time that they're done. So, and then I give them each a couple of these lip applicators so they can scoop it out of this little paint palette and put it on their hand. So, this is how I would get started. So I would tell them, I would explain to them, you know, we're gonna go through these products, you're gonna do it on the back of your hand so that you can actually feel what it feels like. And we're gonna start with the 3-in-1 cleanser. And I explained to them, there's 3 things that you need to be doing to your skin every day. You need to be cleansing, toning, moisturizing, and gently exfoliating. Our 3-in-1 cleanser is gonna do all of those things without having to use a million different products to do it, because I know we ain't got time for that. I sure don't. So I keep a bottle by my sink, I keep some in my shower. Super easy. It's $30, and it's gonna last you literally 6 to 9 months. The tiniest little bit goes a long way. You can see how little I put in your paint palette, and really that would last me about 2 washes, because if we had a sink with running water and you use just a dab and you lather it up, it's just gonna go a long way. So let's start out with, I've got these really fluffy white towels that I give them. I wet them and put them on a little plate next to their spot. But they're all dirty because I've been doing all these makeovers, so I'm using paper towel. So I tell them, just get the back of your hand, you know, just wipe it so it's a little bit wet, and then start with the cleanser. Put a little bit on the back of your hand, and then just use your finger and rub it in really good, like you would a moisturizer. Do that, and then you're gonna take your wet washcloth and just wipe that off, like you would your cleanser. The next thing that we are going to do is, this is called polishing exfoliator or resurfacer. I put one of the 2 in it. I typically put the polishing exfoliator because I think that makes a bigger difference when they feel it on the back of their hand. And I will show them both. So I haven't put it on, so while they're rubbing this in, and I tell them, you know, get it really good, really get that dead skin off. I tell them that both of these exfoliators are made with volcanic ash from the islands of Vanuatu, and I tell them all about how Joni goes to Vanuatu, about the volcanic ash, about all of the amazing things it does for our skin. And then I show them the polishing exfoliator, and I tell them this is for more sensitive skin or to maintain your soft skin once you've used the resurfacer. And then I show them the resurfacer, and I say this is pure volcanic ash sand. This is like sandpaper. This is what I use because I basically like sandpaper to my face. If you like something more gentle, go with the polishing exfoliator. So I have them rub it in really good. Then we take our washcloth, we wipe that off really good. Another reason I like to use the polishing exfoliator as opposed to the resurfacer is it's easier to wipe off, because if you don't have like running water, it's hard to get some of the grit off. So then the next thing that we are gonna put on the back of our hand is climate control. I explained to them that this is basically hydration in its purest form. And if they've got oily skin, I tell them that they definitely want to listen. Because people with oily skin, when they hear this is extra hydrating, they get nervous because they're like, oh no, 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 that's gonna make my skin super oily. And I tell them, when you have oily skin, it does not mean that your face and your skin does not need to be hydrated. All of our skin needs to be hydrated, and if you're not doing it properly, it's probably adding to the reason that your face is so oily. So this type of pure hydration is not going to make your face more oily. It's probably going to help calm down your oil producing glands, and it's exactly what you need. I explained to them I keep a pump of this when I had babies and they would get diaper rash. I would spray it on. It works like aloe if you've got a sunburn, because it's so hydrating that it will take that burn out real quick. It's great for scarring. It's great for stretch marks, all of that. And then I keep a bottle of all of this out. But I basically show them, you know, this is what it looks like. I do like 1 squirt on my face, pat it in. I tell them it's light enough you can put it on before your makeup. I explain to them that when they get it, it's gonna be like half clear, half blue, and you've got to shake it to activate it. And that is climate control. Then we move on to the moisturizer. So they take that, they put some of the moisturizer on the back of their hand, they rub it in, they ooh and ah over how soft their hand is. Then I tell them, you know, feel one hand compared to the other hand. And now imagine your whole face feeling like that. And they're all about to die over it. Then the next product that's in our paint palette is the Collagen Night Pack. And I tell them that, you know, it's basically collagen in a bottle. This is when you do your nighttime routine, this is the very last thing that you'll put on your face. It not only drives all the other products in, but it's putting all that collagen back in your face, because what most people don't realize is you quit making collagen very early, like 18 to 25. Your collagen production days are done now. And nobody realizes that. You know, you kind of assume that as you get older it slows down. No one realizes that it completely stops production at such a young age. So you are needing to put that collagen back into your face to keep that elasticity, to smooth out your skin, all of that good stuff. So the collagen magic in a bottle is what is going to do that, because you're not making any on your own, I guarantee it, unless you're 16. Then possibly, but in 2 years you're gonna need it. So I show them that, I show them the bottle, and I show them the brush and the fancy kit that it comes in, and I'm like, this is like the most luxurious thing that I have, and it's just magical. Look at these shimmers. We ooh and ah, they put it on. I didn't put any in my palette because it's so precious to me that I didn't want to waste it for this video. So we're gonna pretend like we put that on. And then the last thing that I put into their tray is either light or medium color correcting tinted moisturizer. When we do their makeover, I 9 times out of 10 am going to use the Original Make Sense foundation, a full coverage foundation. But I do want to be able to show them how light and soft our tinted moisturizer is, so I do that so they can put a little bit on the back of their hand and they can see how light it is, how easy it is to apply. And if they are just having a lazy day and just need a little bit of coverage, a little bit of evening, perfect solution. I explained to them that they're going to get the sheer coverage, but it's got the color correcting properties in it. So if you've got red in your skin, if you've got sunspots, it's going to even those out and give you the even skin tone with the sheer finish that you're looking for on those lazy days. And that is, sometimes I will grab out my Nangai oil and put a drop on there. I'll talk about the triglycerides, all of that good stuff. And you can use any combination of skin care products to do this. I've basically got all of them. So this is what I have chosen, but I'm in the process of making a second version of this so that depending on who I'm meeting with, I can choose which paint palette setup I want to go to and which products I want to feature the most. You want to definitely use a little bit of common sense with that. You know, talk to who you're meeting with and take into account their specific needs, because that's what's going to really suck them in and get them hooked on all of this. So you want to customize it a little bit to each person, but not so much that it's overwhelming. Like I said, I've booked 45 makeovers in the next 4 weeks, and obviously I need it to be a little bit mainstreamed, but I do want to make it effective with their specific needs. So then once we finish that, I say, okay, who's next? Who is up for a makeover, and we get going on the makeovers. The other girls, if there's 3 of them, they fill out that customer profile I showed you why the other one is getting the makeover. They love watching their friends get the makeover. They like watching how I'm applying it. And so it's kind of a teachable moment when you're doing a makeover on one person and you've got other people watching, because I do have a mirror for them to watch while I'm doing it, but I don't have the best setup for that. So it's a little tricky to show them how to physically apply it while I'm doing it to them. So I kind of, when I'm doing their friend, I'm explaining to them, okay, watch how I'm doing this. This is how I'm stippling it on. This is how I'm taking the applicator from the shadow and just directly putting it on, and then I'm blending. Or if I'm using a dark color like onyx or smoked topaz, I'm showing them how I take a brush, and instead of, because this is a question I get a lot if they use a dark color, you know, they say put a dot on, but it just blends all over my face. So I show them, okay, you don't want to go straight on with a dark color, you want to use a brush. So you take this and you're literally just getting a tiny bit on your brush, and then you're going to blend, and you can build on it. So it's going to start super light, and then you can build it so that you're not making it too dark. Those are, I don't know how many people I've had where it's just tiny tricks like that, and they're like, man, that makes things so much easier. It's all these little tips and tricks that I needed to know that's gonna make me so much more excited about the product. And then they want all of the things. And so that's how we do it. And then there's one more thing that I want to address, because I've had a lot of people ask. One thing that I do very differently is I use an air gun for my makeovers. I use a Temp 2 air gun. I ordered Temp 2 pods, and this is horrible because it's very wasteful, but this is kind of just how I like to do it. I spray out every tiny bit of Temp 2 product because I do not want to put anything but our product onto their face. I spray it out completely. And then I fill the little pods with our product. So like this is, I've got Toasted Rose and Pearlizer in this one. Just get them all out. I've got Green Concealer in one. I've got probably 6 different foundation shades. I'm just slowly building them up. I have Cherry Blush in one. And then I've got a mixture of Bronze Blush and Garnet Shadow mixed into this one. And this is what I contour with, and I use it on their eyes. One of the biggest questions that I get, because really I will use this on their eyes, but I also use a brush. So I'm able to show them how they would do it at home to recreate the look. Because that's the question I get, is that's not duplicatable. If you're using an air gun, they're gonna be like, well, I don't have an air gun, so I'm not gonna get that same look. I get that. But there's a way that I do it that it shows them how to do it. So I'm gonna show you. So basically, okay, so I get foundation air gun. Then this is how my Temp 2 works. It's filled with our product. This one, I think this has ivory in it. So then we're gonna pretend I'm doing it to their face. So when I apply it, let me find my brush. So when I apply it to their face, you know, I'm putting it on, and then I just kind of blend, I stipple, do their, you know, majority of their face. Then here's where I bring it all full circle, is I say, okay, I know you don't have an air gun, and I know that you want to get the same flawless airbrush look. You can do that at home with your own brushes. So, I get out my stuff. Okay, so I get out whatever color in the actual foundation form. And then I usually have a palette. So I say, the way that you're gonna do this at home is you're going to put some on a palette or a lid. You're gonna take a stippling brush. You want something, and this isn't really the stippling brush I use, but currently mine is being washed. But you want any fairly firm, flat top brush that is a stippling brush. You're gonna take this, you're gonna get the product all over the brush, all over it, really in there nicely. And then basically the reason that an airbrush gives you such a flawless look is because of the bajillions of little foundation particles. Think of them like pixelated. Like the more pixelated a picture is, the smoother it is. This is giving you like 1,000,000 pixels because of the tiny little particles that are coming out. The way that you do that with a brush is you stipple. You put it on like this, and I do like half their face or a portion of their face with this so they can see that I'm doing it this way and it looks the exact same as when I do it with the air gun. And I tell them that, you know, you're getting product on every one of these little bristles, and consider every one of these bristles a pixel. So you're doing that same thing where you're getting 1,000,000 little pixels all over your face by stippling. We're not rubbing. We're not doing any of that. You're stippling and you're blending. And then they're like, oh my gosh, that's magical. And then some people will say, well, if you do that, why do you even need an air gun? Well, one, I use this when I do vendor events because it's so much more sanitary. I'm not having to clean brushes every 5 minutes. I don't ever have to touch their face. I can just do this, show them the product. I do the same explanation when I'm doing it. And I've never missed out on a sale because someone's concerned that I'm using an air gun and they're gonna have a tube of product, because I'm showing them how to get the exact same look. And same thing with the makeovers. Like I said, I've got so many booked. This just makes it go faster for me. And so it's a little more efficient. Nobody wants to be here for 5 hours. I can get 3 makeovers done in an hour and a half, including this skincare spiel. So it makes it go faster. People just think it's fun. If you've never had your makeup airbrushed before, it's just fun. It's like a fun toy. They like to do it. I've had people I've done makeovers on who want another one just so they can see what it's like with an air gun. So it's like a fun toy that I'm offering people to play with, and they love it. And since I am able to explain it to them how to get the same look, it's not interfering with duplication or any of that. It works out just fine for me. And so when they're done, you know, as I'm doing their makeover, I have a little basket that I have them hold, or if they're just sitting here, I put it in front of them. As I use products, I'm putting it in the basket. That way, when we're done, they not only have the form that I fill out saying what I used, but they're seeing it all in a basket. And I say, okay, let's talk about what of this do you want to start out with? And then they're like, oh, I can't choose. And I'm like, well, you don't have to choose. Then I tell them about the wholesale account, and I say, girl, if you want all $300 worth of this stuff, we will get that for you for free. All you've got to do is invite 5 friends over, just like you did tonight. We will do this. All of those sales will go towards your launch demo, and we will get you $300 in free product, if not more. And so either they sign up, they get that order placed, and they are a qualified distributor. I try to only do that if they, one, are either buying just a lot regularly, because you don't want to just sign people up and waste them. I mean, if it makes more sense for them to be a customer, you want to keep them as a customer. You only want to sign people up if it just is more practical, whether they want to do the business or if they're just ordering all the things every month. Wholesale account is where they want to be at. And so we get them set up, or they just leave buying $150 to $300 worth of product. Every makeover I've done so far, I've sold no less than $100 of, you know, skincare foundation. They want a lip color, but basically my strategy is I'm eliminating the stigma of Lip Sense as our premier product, because it's not our best seller. Our best seller is our skincare, our foundation, all of it. And so I'm kind of trying to eliminate from my customer base and my new potential customers or downline that Lip Sense is any higher than anything else. Everything, it is equal rights for all of my Synergent stuff, and that's what I'm getting across. I am presenting everything in the same light. Everything is as amazing as anything else, and so instead of just selling a random color or gloss here and there, I'm selling the foundation, I'm selling the cleanser, I'm selling the moisturizer, and the whole shebang, and I'm getting it onto their face. That's so important. And I've also created a virtual makeover format, because if you're within 90 miles, I will get with you and I will get this onto your face. If you're outside of that range and I just can't get with you in person, then I have a format that I will do another video on and explain to you all of that, but a way that I can give you this almost exact experience in a virtual format. And it's been just as successful. It's been more successful as my traditional Facebook demo format. And I've just got a lot of good reactions. So I will do a video explaining all of that. And I will also make another video that goes through my whole makeover process. I'm hoping that one of my next makeovers, I can get them to agree to let me film from start to finish, and that way I can share it with you all. So let me know if you have any questions, if there's anything else you want to cover, if there's anything that I said that confuses you, just let me know and I will go over it with you. So I hope that this was helpful, and I can't wait to hear all about all of your makeovers that you're going to have booked, and you are going to be MUA certified in no time. So I will talk to you all later. Bye.